I'd like to call this regular council meeting to order. Councillor Flagg, would you provide the land acknowledgement, please?
Happy to do that, Your Worship. We acknowledge that the land upon which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Adirondack, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe people. We are the beneficiaries of ancient agreements such as the dish with one spoon between the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee, who agreed to share the abundance of the land through peace, friendship, and mutual respect. The two were a wampum by which the Haudenosaunee welcomed the settlers and agreed to share the land in mutual respect, and the Treaty of Niagara, considered a fundamental document by First Nations in all future relations and treaties with the British. We recognize that we have a responsibility to be stewards of the land in cooperation and collaboration with the Indigenous people, not only for one generation, but for all generations to come. We understand that we have an obligation to learn the lessons of our history, educate ourselves about the experiences of the Indigenous people, and seek opportunities to heal the wounds that will result in reconciliation with our Indigenous sisters and brothers. Many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people live and work in Fort Erie. We stand with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands upon which we live. We have the good fortune to live in a land of such abundance, diversity, and beauty. Let us be vigilant in protecting Turtle Island.
Thank you, Councillor Flagg. Would you all please rise for the invocation?
We meet to serve our community and to endeavor to be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. Let us be concerned only for what will promote good government. May we bring to our council chambers minds that think and hearts that feel, so that in our deliberations we may display imagination, wisdom, and courage, and the will to do our work for the good of all.
Thank you. And Mr. Clerk, the roll call, please.
Your Worship, Councillors Lewis and McDermott are absent this evening. All other members of council are present.
Thank you. There are no addenda this evening. I do have a few announcements. The first is that I wanted to congratulate the Fort Erie Arts Council for their Red Ribbon Gala that they held last Saturday. They had about 30 artists who were exhibiting their work, and among the featured artists were students from Greater Fort Erie Secondary School, and I know that it was an extremely well-attended event, and Councillor Flagg and Councillor Noyes want to thank you for being in attendance on behalf of Council that evening. We have some upcoming events on September the 30th. The Fort Erie Native Friendship Center is holding its Haudenosaunee and Big Drum Social, which will be in lieu of their march that they've traditionally had on September the 30th. This is their Truth and Reconciliation Day activity. The event honors the resilience of Indigenous youth, who, unlike past generations, are free to sing, dance, drum, and embrace their culture without restriction. The events on September 30th take place at the Native Friendship Center on Buffalo Road. They begin at 6 a.m. with a sunrise ceremony. At 1 o'clock, there are opening words and speakers, and then later on, there are a number of events ending with a traditional feast starting at 4 o'clock and a social event thereafter. On September the 27th, which is next Saturday, Stevensville Fire Association is celebrating its 100th anniversary. That will take place at Fire Station number 5, and it will be held from 2 till 4. The public is welcome to attend on September 27th. 1 to 3? Okay, mine says 2 to 4, but if you get there at 1 o'clock and it starts at 2, I guess you'll be there a bit early. You can, but if you get there at 4 and it ends at 3, I guess you'll be late. My diary says 2 to 4, but if it's 1 to 3, we'll caution everyone they might want to be early. Next week, the town staff is starting a series of engagements with public schools, elementary schools in Fort Erie, and this is part of the climate change adaptation plan engagement. They're starting their program on I think it's September the 24th? Tomorrow, September 23rd. That is at St. George's, and there will be some discussion at the school, and then there will be a tree planting at Crystal Ridge Park. And that's part of the town's initiative to restore our tree canopy following the emerald ash borer toll that it took on our ash trees. On October the 4th, from 2 o'clock until 6 o'clock, at the place, the Fort Erie men's fastball alumni is holding a reunion, and all individuals are welcome, particularly the players who played many, many years ago. $10 a ticket, and they can be obtained at the door. On the same day, October the 4th, the Douglas Memorial Auxiliary is holding a 90th anniversary celebration. That is from 2 to 4, and that is at St. Paul's Anglican Church in Fort Erie. Then I've got a comment that I wanted to make with respect to some vandalism that has recently taken place in the town municipal center here, over near the Workers' Memorial, which is particularly disturbing. Aside from some vandalism there were some trees damaged. I don't understand it. I never did understand vandalism. I can understand people stealing things that they need to live, like food or necessities of life. Don't understand vandalism at all. I don't understand why people feel they need to do that. Right now, the investigation would indicate that it's younger people. That doesn't let the parents off the hook. And so we're following that up. There have been discussions between our staff and school representatives and the police. And I can assure anyone who gets caught with performing vandalism within the community that they will be subject to the law, and rightly should be. So if you see anything of that nature taking place, any place in the town, private property or public property, please make sure that the police or the municipality is made aware of that, and we will follow that up. There's just no place for that in our community. But I'm going to end on a very positive note, because I was alerted this afternoon to the fact that the town staff received a recognition. The town was shortlisted among 5 finalists from across the United States and Canada to receive an award related to the PSD citywide software installation, which is part of our new asset management plan and our work order management system. Although we were one of the finalists, we didn't win, but the winner was from Atlanta, Georgia. So we were in tremendous company, and the certificate that was provided to us is for Corporate Organization Transformation Award finalist. And I want to thank our CAO, Chris McQueen, for the work that he's done, and congratulate all of the staff who participated in this and brought this particularly prestigious award to our community. That's what it looks like. And that will be displayed in our atrium in an appropriate location for people to see. So that's it for the announcements for now. And that takes us to disclosures of pecuniary interest. Are there any? Mr. Clerk, I have a disclosure with respect to items 18.3 and 18.4, which are bylaws 84 and 85. And those relate to a development on Hibbard Street, and the property itself is near property where my law office is located, and my former partner, who is now deceased, his estate has some legal action involving the owner of the property, the subject of these bylaws. So I'm going to ask Councillor Christensen to take the chair when we get to that, and those bylaws will have to be removed from the package when we get to that. So that's bylaws 84 and 85. If there are no other declarations of pecuniary interest, then we have one upcoming public meeting. That's with respect to 1405 Inglewood Avenue. It's a zoning bylaw amendment, and it will take place here Monday, October the 6th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. I would anticipate that we will receive some type of information report prior to that. That takes us to the regional councillor, Councillor Encina. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Redekop, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I will be brief. It's only a one-pager tonight. The regional budget deliberations continue as they have for the last several months. The objective of staff has to bring in each department and give a description of the work that they do and the money that they believe that they require to continue. In keeping in line with this educational approach to the budget, Niagara Regional Police Services appeared at the Budget Review Committee of the Whole after their presentation of the various units that are in the policing world. Came their preliminary numbers for the 2026 budget. Although it is still early in the budget process, it is anticipated the NRPS will be asking for approximately an increase of 5.32% on top of last year's for a total of $261.3 million. The NRP chief advised that he will be looking for efficiencies and cost savings wherever they can be found. Their final budget is presented to the Budget Review Committee of the Whole in November. The region has updated the public works projects on their web throughout the area. 40 Erie projects are listed, and it is good to see that the new water tower construction has been started by the Bridge Street landfill site on Pettit Road. Once completed, the Central Avenue water tower and the Stevensville Reservoir will be decommissioned. Upgrades continue at the Bridge Street landfill site. Paving of ancillary roadways continues for easier drop-off and making it easier for residents to dispose of waste while reducing the amount of dust and the maintenance. For a full list of the many projects throughout the region, and especially for Erie, they can visit Niagara Regional website under Public Works. This comes from Councillor McDermott asked me to mention this. Many residents along the Niagara Parkway by Jarvis Street in the Bridgeburg area have been noticing a smell and odor in the air. I've been able to find out that it is believed that it's a sewage. The smell is emanating from Buffalo, from the wastewater plant in Buffalo, New York. And they are currently trying to update the plant as we speak, and it's still a couple months out from being fixed. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Encina. The police budget that you referred to, that was 5.whatever% for the total regional budget. Their actual year over year is closer to 13%.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any questions of the regional councillor? Councillor Noyes.
Thank you, Mayor Redekop. Through to Mr. Encina. Mr. Encina, a while ago, I wish I would have kept it, but the region got a grant from the province for transportation. I think it was significant. Was it over 100 million? Yeah. Okay. And it's going to replace all the buses and et cetera, whatever. Will it reduce the anticipated increase in transit fees from the municipality? Because we were told a while ago, before this grant, that there's going to be a significant increase in transit fee for the municipalities. Will this then reduce that?
So I'll answer that. I'm Vice Chair of the Niagara Transit Commission. That's money from an upper level of government. That's over a 10-year period. It's to replace the existing rolling stock, which is mostly buses. It won't have any impact on the budget. It certainly won't decrease the budget because services are going to be increased. And if you've reviewed the information that we've got on tonight's agenda, you'll see what the microtransit numbers are. The Niagara Transit is going to be presenting their operational report at Regional Budget Committee. I think it's October the 2nd. Yep. And their budget will be coming forward later in the year. So this is a capital aspect, and it won't have an impact on the operating budget. It won't reduce it, won't have any impact on increasing it.
Well, thank you for that explanation. That's unfortunate. I was hoping. My next question is about Stevensville Road, going through Stevensville. It's I would say, in poor condition. I know it's scheduled for urbanization in 2028. What's going to happen between now and 2028? I mean, the road's really bad.
Through you, Mayor Redekop, I've asked that question also. As far as right now, I believe it's the design phase and everything else as about 40 to 50% complete. Are they going to start early? No. It's anticipated through this next budget season as we go through. If the money should be there, and it was voted on last year, I believe. So I will bring that forward to the Director of Transportation to see what, in fact, they are going to do. And you're right, it is getting to be like a cow path. And I have mentioned that to him, and I will bring that to them again to see what, in fact, they are going to do to mediate that.
Okay, thank you, because I understand they may not move the calendar forward, but they're going to have to do something in the next 3 years to fix it somewhat,
Yes,
even though it's going to be dug up.
I
You
agree
can't leave it.
100%.
Okay, thank you.
Any other councillors? If none, thanks very much, Councillor Encina. That takes us into presentations and delegations, and it's my pleasure to greet Mr. DeWitt Lee, who is the head of the U.S.-Canada Underground Railroad Month Committee, and my experience has been a rather dynamic individual in his own right. Good evening, sir.
Thank you so much.
I've just set the bar pretty high for you.
What an introduction. What an introduction. Beyond grateful, Mayor, Council Peoples, and citizens of Fort Erie. Gives me great pleasure to be standing in front of you in this very sacred space where decisions are made and the leadership of this city is on display. I, too, am very fond of our engagements. I'm truly grateful for your leadership and your support. So, as I was identified as, my name is DeWitt Lee III, founder of the Caretakers of Our Culture, which is an international organization designed to create and curate days, weeks, and months of celebration and commemoration of people of African descent. One of our subsidiaries is the U.S.-Canada International Underground Railroad Month Committee, which works with government entities and community organizations to ensure that this month of observation is in fact met and recognized, but most importantly amplified through events and various means of educational campaigns to inspire and introduce the community to the history that has happened all around them. In many communities, this advocacy work has already have been done, and we are grateful to extend our resources to help. We'd like to acknowledge the work of HART, Heritage Arts, Legacy of Fort Erie, and their countless contributions, including the leadership of our ancestor, Wilma Morrison, who dedicated her life to the preservation of our presence in this community. We are beyond grateful to this council for their support in producing this historical proclamation that has deep roots and significance right here in Fort Erie. This month is historically recognized by states. But we decided to focus on the cities that the Underground Railroad passed through so that the members of that community can embrace it, can share it, but most importantly, build upon it so future generations are aware of what took place in their city. To take pride that the people of the community, it's not just a route, it's the people that manage the route that need to be celebrated. And those are people from all walks of life, which is why not celebrating this month, we lose an opportunity to recognize when we are at our best, when we are able to function together, when we are able to look past the consequences of working together and for the greater good decided to see the human in each of us and the right for freedom and peace. And so this Fort Erie community is one of those champion communities. There are very few around the world that can say, we risked it, we put it all on the line to ensure humanity was priority. And so to be here in Fort Erie, knowing the legacy, knowing the history, gives me goosebumps. But nevertheless, we are very fortunate that Buffalo, New York, and Fort Erie, Ontario, Canada, were gracious enough to extend these proclamations, recognizing this month as such. We believe the relationship between these two cities is something that can be flourished, and our shared history can be built upon and made into an international destination to commemorate the Underground Railroad, which will impact, obviously, the community and the profile of both cities. This year also has additional significance for Fort Erie because it is the 120th anniversary of the Niagara movement. This was just a meeting of legendary figures like W.E. Du Bois and Mary Burnett Talbot, who actually just participated in a ceremony to recognize the home that she lived in Buffalo. They were forced to come to Fort Erie because of the racist tension in Buffalo, New York. So they found a place, a sanctuary here in Fort Erie, and that is at the Erie Beach Hotel in Fort Erie, which this meeting led essentially to the formation of the NAACP. So Fort Erie has direct connections to this mighty organization, and we hope that we can attract them to visit Fort Erie and for them to return to their roots and to be able to have one of their conventions in this area. And that's one of the visions that we have here. I will, if given a moment, to read this proclamation because it is so powerful and it's so eloquent and does cover a lot of what I'd like to share today. This is the official proclamation here. At the end, I'll let you at least say your name.
Well, subject to council passing that, which I'm
Yes.
sure they will, but we'll.
Oh, way to put them under pressure. I like that. I like the on live stream. That's how we do. I like it. I like it. Well, alleged, I guess, a alleged proclamation. Potential. Right. The town of Fort Erie acknowledges that the 4 pillars of sustainable community are social, economic, environmental, and cultural. Fort Erie has a rich and diverse culture, and celebrating this heritage fosters a shared understanding which enhances community pride and strength. And Fort Erie recognizes that it has strived to be a place of refuge throughout the centuries for those seeking safety from oppression and longing for opportunities for a better life. An appreciation of the inspiring efforts of people from around the world who have committed themselves to document and celebrate the story of the Underground Railroad, a movement that embraced the rights to self-determination and freedom from oppression and contribute to the eradication of slavery. The Underground Railroad movement was a transformative period in history, and Fort Erie is both humbled and proud to have helped advance the course of progress for all people. And courageous souls that traveled the Underground Railroad throughout the United States of America found safety at the end of that perilous journey when they crossed the Niagara River and reached the shores of Fort Erie. Josiah Henson made this journey to freedom on October 28, 1830, and his journey is commemorated with a plaque at Freedom Park. And those formerly enslaved people who chose to settle in Fort Erie in the 19th century added to the diverse cultural heritage of our community by establishing businesses, schools, churches, and representing one of the largest settlements in Bertie Township at the time. And in strength, courage, and fortitude of those freedom seekers who provided hope and inspiration for those seeking safety and refuge in the 20th and 21st centuries. The sacrifice and triumph of those freedom seekers is acknowledged and celebrated in both Fort Erie and Buffalo as a show of solidarity regarding this shared cross-border heritage. The U.S.-Canada Underground Railroad Committee wishes to commemorate this dynamic and deeply rooted history by celebrating September as International Underground Railroad Month. Now, the last Saturday of September is recognized as North Star Day, following in the future when a walk will be held from Freedom Park in Fort Erie to Freedom Park in Buffalo to symbolize the risk and sacrifice that Canadians took to go back into America through Buffalo and other routes to help rescue those in bondage. As a sign of solidarity, North Star Day will honor those who sacrificed their lives and livelihoods to take a stand against slavery with the unwavering belief that all people were created and deserve to be treated as equals. Thank you very much. So I'll leave that up to the vote, but it is.
So what we'll do is, when you're finished, Mr. Lee, we then go to what's called the consent agenda. This proclamation is contained in that, and as soon as that's been approved, assuming it's approved, then I will come down and I'll make the formal presentation to you, and you can get a photo of that if you wish.
Outstanding. I love that. Thank you so much. So in closing, I'd like to mention that as telling and emotional as that proclamation is, I'd be remiss if we didn't recognize some areas that also deserve to be celebrated today. Bertie Hill, Little Africa, and Fort Erie Grove, areas with little to very little to none acknowledgement. And hopefully this exciting allyship with the city of Fort Erie and the community members here that call Fort Erie home will be able to not only recognize what took place here in Fort Erie, but also create it into a destination, a hub of humanity that can celebrate all the heroics that took place on those sites. We're very familiar with the Fort Erie vision. Is it 2051? Is that it? It's on the website.
So, yeah, we have an obligation to plan to 2051.
That's right. And so we believe that the timing of this collaboration is perfect to make sure that these sites have been made profound and celebrated. So we invite you all to join us on October 28th as we invite community members from both sides of the border to join us on Josiah's Journey, which is October 28th. We'll send you all the details. This idea came across the mayor's desk, and he somehow championed it. I was shocked when I got off the phone to know that he said, "I'll meet you when you cross over." And he has done so every time we've crossed the border, meeting us there, walking alongside of us, along the shores of Fort Erie, sharing his robust knowledge of this community and the history of this community. And last year we were fortunate to have hundreds of bikers who joined us on bike, and they rode their bikes over from Buffalo to Fort Erie to visit all of the sites. So we're looking forward to a bigger and more dynamic and powerful gathering in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. Now, before you sit down, do any members of council have any questions? Yeah, okay. So if you just have a seat and hold on to the declaration, we'll do our consent agenda. And if all things work out the way we anticipate, I'll come down shortly and present that to you, and you can have a photo.
Love, thank you. Thank you for your
very
time.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so there are no public meetings this evening. There is a consent agenda. Are there any items that anyone wishes removed from the consent agenda? If not, Councillor Noyes, you have the resolution to put the consent agenda on the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Redekop. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Flagg that the council approves the consent agenda as recommended.
I should point out that aside from the resolution with respect to the Underground Railroad Month, there's also resolutions with respect to Early Childhood Educator Appreciation Day, the 25th Annual Child Care Worker and Early Childhood Educator Appreciation Day, as well as a Community Health and Wellbeing Month, which we'll be dealing with. Councillor Flagg.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of things, if I may, on the annual child care worker. I'm 100% in favor of this. My only caution to council is part and parcel of their letter is makes reference to remuneration and a couple of things like that. And I just think we need to watch how in depth we approve or support some of the days, depending on what's mentioned in them. But again, 100% in favor of ECA and the workers associated with that. The second is, if we are just going to cut and paste anything with respect to 11.2.4, the Wellbeing Month, it just says in the Fort Erie, Ontario. It's probably the town of Fort Erie, just in case we're looking at anything that's going on social media sites. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, did you get that? Any other questions or comments? Councillor Noyes.
Yes, excuse me, 11.3.1, board and committee minutes. Just, there was a question, I did talk to Councillor Lewis earlier today too. In the minutes, they were asking, there was a question asked, can someone donate to the Crystal Beach improvement area through the town to designate it towards the Crystal Beach BIA? He would like to, he would like to know if that's possible or not.
I don't know, Ms. Griffin, do you have a comment on that, or do you want to have the Director Corporate Services provide a response to that?
Yes, please, through the chair to the councillor. I don't have an answer at the moment. We'd have to take that back and be able to report back to council. It may be possible. There are some inherent risks with having the money flow through various entities like that, but it may be possible with the proper financial controls in place. So if I can take that back and report back to council to confirm.
Thank you for that. And the other question I have is on 11.4.1, the 2025 second quarter financial report. When I first read it, I said, oh no, it's not a very good report. The housing starts are way down, et cetera, et cetera. Our building permits, everything else is going in the wrong direction. But then I read what we got today from, it's GNCC? Anyway, that most municipalities in the Greater Horseshoe, including Toronto, have a failing grade, and that 22 out of the 34 have an F in regards to new housing starts and builds. So we're not alone in this. It seems to be a much more global than us. And in the first 6 months, housing stats decreased by 40% in 34 municipalities. So when I read our report, and it's not great, in regards to housing starts, it seems to be the trend in Ontario, I guess. So so that was my one question. The only thing too is about impact in there, that they thought that the impact is behind and they're catching up. I always had the impression that when you got reassessed by impact, you got more money, not less money. Like the municipalities, usually the assessment went higher, not lower.
No, so all impact does is provide assessments. If everybody was assessed and everybody increased by the same amount, the value of their property increased by the same amount, there'd be no change in anybody's taxes, because you simply multiply the assessed value time whatever our rate is. Our rate would go down, their assessment would go up, same amount of money.
Yes, I understand that. That's why I was surprised to see that we're anticipating a decrease.
So I think,
income.
and Ms. Griffin, you might be able to clarify that, but I think the problem is that MPAC is behind in its assessments of properties, and that's why we don't have all of the, that's why we're not bringing in the revenue we thought we would get and budgeted for. Is that correct, Ms. Griffin?
That's correct, and it's not necessarily that this revenue is down, it's just lower than we expected it to be based on the budget. So we have had one supplemental billing since this report was written, and I do expect that that variance will be less by the end of the year, but we're really reliant on that workflow through MPAC to be able to reach that budget. So we will see what materializes over the next couple months.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, then I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of the items in the consent agenda? That is carried unanimously. I'll be right back, folks. Now official.
No flip of a coin, that thing.
What they do where you're
Yeah, they do. We just flip a coin. We pull straws.
we're more scientific here.
Pastor, do you mind? Thank you. It's too much to ask everyone, eh? I just want to at least extend the invitation, all right? Let you know that you'll be missed. Thank you. Thank you. I won't. Pastor,
And there's no need for you to stay after you're finished here. You don't have to stay for the whole meeting. Okay, so that takes us then to new business and inquiries, and Councillor Christensen, you have the first resolution.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Noyes, that Council accepts the resignation of Rosalie Snyder from the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee, and further that Council directs staff to proceed with the filling of the vacancy in accordance with the procedural bylaw.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the resolution? None opposed, that is carried. Are there any other inquiries or items of new business? Mr. CAO, I have a question with respect to, perhaps staff could maybe look into this. The Catholic School Board, unlike the District School Board of Niagara, does charge development charges for construction in Fort Erie. And I'm wondering if you could have someone from staff look into what the development charges study for the Catholic School Board looks like in terms of potential construction in Fort Erie at some point in the future. Since I know that they are collecting development charges here on new construction. Is that something that can be done? Thank you. If there are no other items of new business or inquiries, that takes us then to Councillor Dubanow. You have a motion for us to go into closed session for a few items?
I do, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Flagg. That council does now go into closed session at 6:38 p.m. to consider the following. Item 14.1, closed session minutes of September 8th, 2025. Item 14.2, Crystal Beach Business Improvement Area Board of Management appointment pursuant to Section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act 2001. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Item 14.3, Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee appointments pursuant to Section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act 2001. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Item 14.4, Report LLS-04-2025, Appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal for a draft plan of vacant land condominium, 3770 Hazel Street, OLT -24-001136 pursuant to Section 239(2)E of the Municipal Act 2001, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. And finally, item 14.5, Report PBBS 67-2025, Tree Planting Initiative Response pursuant to Section 239(2)F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of going into closed session? None opposed, that is carried. Okay, we're back in the council chamber now, and Councillor Flagg, I understand that you have the resolution for us to rise and reconvene from closed session.
I do, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Christensen that council does now rise and reconvene at 7:20 p.m. with report 14.1 that council approves the closed session minutes of September 8, 2025. 14.2, the council appoints Amanda O'Brien to the Crystal Beach Improvement Area Board of Management, appointment for the term ending November 14, 2026, or until such time as a successor is appointed. 14.3, the council appoints Timothy Steele, Emma Folkens, Luxie Everett, and Lena Patel to the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee for the term ending November 14, 2026, or until their successors are appointed. 14.4, that confidential report LLS 04-2025 be approved by council, and that council authorizes staff to proceed as directed in closed session. And 14.5, that confidential report PBBS 67-2025 as amended be approved, and that council authorizes staff to proceed as directed in closed session.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? None opposed, that is carried. That takes us then to motions. There was a motion that Councillor Lewis had returnable this evening. It's going to be postponed to January 26th, January 26th, 2026. And although Councillor Lewis is not here, his purpose for deferring this is that there has been progress made in discussions relative to the Douglas Memorial site, and both with Niagara Health and the Ministry of Health. He wants an opportunity for that to develop further. So that will be deferred then to January 26, 2026. Notices of motion. Councillor Dubanow.
Yes, Your Worship, I'd like to give notice of motion for staff to develop a policy for the urbanization of streets as part of development applications. I'd like to return that in November. Is November 24th our regular council meeting?
It is a regular council meeting.
I don't have the council.
November 17th?
I will not be here on the 17th.
Then make it December.
Yep. So we'll move it then. December 15th, returnable December 15th, Your Worship.
Are there any other notices of motion? Councillor Noyes.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that a notice of motion for that be a splash pad at AC Douglas Park be included in the 2026 capital budget.
When is that returnable?
I'm not sure.
Beg pardon?
The next council meeting?
Which is, what's the date of the next council meeting? Is that October? Say that again, October the 20. October what? 20th. Okay. That'll be, pardon? Well, you can bring it forward. It'll be deferred to the budget deliberations. I'm telling you right now, but you can bring that forward. Okay? Any other notices of motion? Okay, that takes us then to consideration of bylaws. 84 and 85 have to be dealt with separately, and Councillor Christensen will deal with 84 and 85. So Councillor Flagg, could you put on the floor the remainder of the bylaws for first and second reading, please?
Yes, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dubanow, the bylaw package containing 82-2025 to adopt revised operating guidelines for Business Improvement Areas Board of Management and repeal bylaw 183-2007. 83-2025 to amend council rules of procedure bylaw 36-2016 as amended, and in parentheses, permit recorded votes. And 86-2025 to assume the stormwater management system for Park Lane Place subdivision plan 59M 452 800574 Ontario Limited Ed Lushishin are given first and second reading.
All those in favor? That is carried. So bylaws 82, 83, and 86 are on the floor for any questions or comments. If there are none, then Councillor Noyes, could you put those bylaws, so 82, 83, and 86 on the floor for third and final?
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Flagg that bylaw number 82, 2025, 83, 2025, and 86, 2025 are given third and final reading to be signed by the mayor and the clerk under the corporate seal.
Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? None opposed, that is carried. Councillor Christensen, could I give the chair to you? Then Councillor Flagg has first and second reading, and Councillor Noyes third and
Yes.
final for those. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Flagg, could you please put the two bylaws on the floor?
Thank you, Chair. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dubanow, that bylaws 84, 2025 to enact an amendment to the official plan adopted by bylaw 150-06 for the Town of Fort Erie Planning Area Amendment 870-8227 Hibbard Street, 2599-66-4 Ontario Limited, Mark Spatafora, and 85, 2025 to amend zoning bylaw 129-90 as amended, 08227 Hibbard Street, 2599-664 Ontario Limited, Mark Spatafora, are given first and second reading.
The two bylaws are on the floor for discussion and comment. That being, there be no discussion or comment. Councillor Noyes, can you give 35?
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Flagg that bylaw numbers 84-2025 and 85-2025 are given third and final reading to be signed by the mayor and the clerk under the corporate seal.
Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. I return the chair to you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Christensen. That takes us then to the confirmatory bylaw, and Councillor Christensen, you have first and second reading of that.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Noyes, that bylaw 87-2025 to confirm the actions of council at its council in committee meeting held on September 8th, 2025, and its regular council meeting held on September 22nd, 2025 is given first and second reading.
All those in favor? None opposed, that is carried. Councillor Flagg, you have third and final reading.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Christensen that bylaw 87, 2025 is given third and final reading, be signed by the mayor and clerk under the corporate seal.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? None opposed, that is carried. That takes us to scheduling of meetings. Councillor Dubanow.
Yes, Your Worship. The Infrastructure Services Business Subcommittee has a meeting on Wednesday, September 24th at 3 p.m. here at Town Hall in Conference Room 3, and I will be there, Your Worship.
Since you're on that committee now. Good. Any other meetings? Councillor Noyes.
Yes, tomorrow the Accessibility Advisory Committee is meeting in Conference Room 1 at 4 p.m.
Any others? Councillor Christensen.
The Senior Citizens Advisory Committee will be meeting on Wednesday, October the 1st at 10 a.m. in Committee Room 1, and the Ridgeway Business Improvement Area Board of Management will be meeting at 5:30 p.m. at the Crystal Ridge branch of the Fort Erie Public Library on the same day, October 1st.
Any others? Then, Councillor Dubanow, I would ask you to bring these proceedings to a conclusion.
With pleasure, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Noyes that council adjourns at 7:30 p.m. to reconvene into a regular meeting of council on October 20th, 2025.
In favor? That is unanimous. Thank you.